Hi, Elhaam.
Hi, Sabah.
How you doing?
A little anxious.
I'm going to kick off with... Okay, great, because I'm going to kick off with a super chill conversation with you right now.
Okay.
When is the first time you remember being body shamed?
School. I was young, like really young. I must have been like, I don't know. I mean, earliest memory, I have terrible memory, but earliest memory would have been like
Good, I asked you this question.
9, 10, whatever.
9, 10.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I wasn't big. I was just, my body type is just, I'm big made, right? Like I used to love telling people, I have heavy bones.
Yeah, big bones.
Yeah.
I get
Which
it.
is true.
Yeah.
But yeah, there were boys who would tease and call you names and call you chubs and fat and, you know, those kind of things. So that... it really like it sunk in like and it's something that it took me through and I now remember it. And what about you?
I think so. There's so many. You have to keep in mind I was born like almost 11 pounds, so I came out swinging from the gate. But I remember when I was like 5 years old, I had poured myself like a tall glass of orange juice, and my uncle was visiting, and he snatched it from me and said, "This is not for you. Like, drink water, you're too big."
That's intense.
And I'm like 5 and I want that juice, right? So like I'm like, get the hell out of my way and give me that. But yeah, I remember that. And then I think in school one time, like it somehow hadn't come up. And I think this was around, I was 9 years old, so we're looking at 4th grade, and we were playing kickball, which I loved that. It's a pretty easy sport, so it was right up my alley. And I remember I was like running to base, and 2 boys who I thought like we were friends were like, "Oh, she's so fat." And I was just standing there, and I was like, "Okay, well, I ran and I made it. I should have ran into you, you skinny little..." No, I'm saying you're not supposed to be body shaming. But the reason I asked you that today is because that is our topic of conversation. So are you ready to talk about this?
Let's talk about this.
Let's talk about this. And we have an incredible guest with us today.
To talk about this topic
Literally.
with us.
Yes. Please welcome Sarah Ajmal. Woo!
Hi guys. Hey Elhaam. Hi Sabah.
Hello.
Thank you so much for calling me on this podcast.
Thank you
I
for
feel
joining
honored.
us.
So Sarah, we've known for a while. I mean, I've known her
Couple
from
of
all those
years,
videos, dance videos.
Yes.
Excellent dancer.
Mashallah.
And you're also a content creator.
I wanna be
One in
content
denial, but she is one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I made a public account like I think 4 years ago in COVID, in 2020, and then honestly, it's just there. And I think the last time I posted on it was a year ago.
Okay,
So,
nice.
but it's okay.
Yeah.
You know, it's still there.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
But
I
I'm
still
sure
have
people
followers.
are going to recognize you from the other videos that you pop up with.
Yeah.
Other podcast guests, Syra Umar, you guys like to dance together, Zarina. So
Yeah, I mean, we have a couple of dancing videos for sure together with Syra,
Yeah.
Zarmina, and then obviously, you know, a lot of my other friends where I'm literally telling them, please post my video.
Celebrity
I need followers.
friends.
Yeah.
Celebrity friends, yeah. You see, the thing is, Elhaam, they are celebrities, but अगर मुझे मौका मिलता,
That's true.
अगर मैं आती इंडस्ट्री में तो फिर वो कैसे celebrities बनते? उनका तो काम नहीं
I
चलता
hope
ना।
they're watching this.
So,
And
body
I hope you're
shaming
getting
की
lots
वजह
of
से-
texts right now from all of them being like, excuse me?
No, they know. They know. That's
So
true.
body shaming की वजह से actually I'm not a celebrity because I just feel कि हमारी इंडस्ट्री में
Okay,
आप लोग को
let's get into that.
Can
let's
we
get
ask
into that.
the
Why?
same question?
Yeah. So when was the first time you were ever body shamed?
I mean, look, I've been on the heavier side since I was 18, 17,
Yeah.
right? And I've been body shamed obviously in school. You know, at that time I was doing A levels.
Yeah.
And I started gaining weight, and I obviously didn't know that I would gain weight, but ab ho gaya to ho gaya. But I just feel like there are a lot of things which I remember from that time, obviously, which have just left that impact on me where I've gone through, now I need to start dieting, now I need to be on a healthy lifestyle, blah, blah, blah. But if you genuinely ask me, I probably don't want to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just have to do it because of the society. And plus, I'll tell you, recently when I actually opened up my public account, which is, they call me Bebo.
Yes.
Over there, I have so many hate comments, not just about my body, but even my hair. But I include that in body shaming because it's part of your body.
So I just want to like say, body shaming is not just about whether you're fat or whether you're thin or whether you're a certain body type. It comes with every kind of
Exactly. Like
part of
every
you, right? It
facet.
could be your teeth, it could be your nose, it could be your ears, it could be literally anything. And the first place that it actually starts is in school, where you have all these other kids who don't have filters, who don't have,
Exactly.
who haven't learned social
Yeah.
cues as yet, or also are doing it to put you down, to put themselves up. It's just kind of how they socialize, and that's where it kind of starts from.
Because I think they learn that at home, right? I remember, so my whole thing on the internet, how I became a content creator and started posting live, basically, I had become a journalist for like news agencies. I was like, time to get serious.
Yeah.
Opened up my Instagram, and I think the first Eid that came then, I wore a sari. I've told this story before, and I had like a sliver of tum, and I was actually a lot, not as big as I am now then. And the internet was like, holy smokes, this fatty showed her stuff. And look, I could make jokes, but it did launch my career and stuff,
Yeah.
right? And I started modeling and I started doing things like that. But it was wild to people that a slightly larger person, who by the way looks like
Is showing skin is a
showing
big
skin
deal, exactly.
and has on sleeveless and is like
Yeah.
posing. They
Yeah.
couldn't like believe it. And I've just, I don't know, I've always found it so
So
funny.
you know, a similar thing, just like that, I posted something on my public platform where I'm wearing shorts.
Yeah.
And that's fine because I'm on an island, so I'm wearing shorts with a shirt.
Temperature
And
appropriate.
then when I opened the comments, it was like, da, 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 da. And one was like, oh my God, tum Mussalman nahi ho. And then,
Oh, we
tum,
get that a lot.
Itni moti ho ke apni tangen dikha. And I'm like, okay, so my friends were like, why don't you switch your comments off?
No.
Why should I switch them off?
No.
I actually want them to keep writing because I actually like responding to them.
Same.
You know,
but how do you
because
respond to them?
I respond to them saying कि आपको इतना फर्क पड़ रहा है तो आप मुझे unfollow कर दें.
Okay, you're much.
Just
You're
so
very
that-
polite. She screenshots
No,
and shames.
so you know there was this lady, you know, she recently I posted something and obviously my hair is crazy. And when I posted that,
I
you
think
know, I was
your
going.
hair's so cool.
I mean, I find it cool. This is who I am. You know, I feel like this is my personality.
Look, I'm cosplaying as straight hair today.
Yeah, I was really upset when I saw
we
your blow
thought
dry.
we'd have two lions sitting here. Hold on, I don't want to cut your story off, but afterwards I want to talk a little bit about the curly
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah,
Keep
sure. Yeah, we
going.
will.
Yeah.
So, anyways, I posted that picture, and I think my hair looked really cool. And then there was this woman, you know, I don't remember the name, but she wrote in like caps, and she's like, "मेरा दिल चाहता है कि मैं तुम्हें अपनी टांगों के बीच में बिठाऊं, तुम्हारे कस के बालों में तेल लगा के तुम्हारी चोटी बांध दूं."
That's really
So,
aggressive.
Yeah, it was very aggressive. So I literally replied, I was like, aggressive.
But you know why people do that?
I was like,
Like, what else are you
like,
supposed to say?
I
I
was
would
like,
have
you're
tagged-
very angry. Like,
I
you
would
know,
have
what's
like
up?
tagged
And
the
also-
therapist's Instagram handle and been like, check it out,
Yeah,
girl.
exactly. I
Also,
was like-
who hurt you? Like,
Like-
why are you being so aggressive about some stranger's hair?
You know-
it's not even
it
like.
literally takes a second. Go and unfollow me. If my
Yeah.
hair is bugging you,
Yeah.
go and unfollow me.
No,
You
but
know?
people would much rather, like, because they're
Get
hiding
angry.
behind a screen, it's easier to type, like, angry type, these kind of things,
Oh, they love
than
it.
actually just make their lives easier
But-
and just switch to another screen.
If it's any consolation, like just a few weeks ago, I was standing in my nanny's kitchen. She's like, "Do you ever brush it?" And I'm like, "Yes, man." I was like, "This isn't straight hair that I've like been electrocuted before I came over
But you
today."
know, that's something that, like, Pakistani families also don't understand other hair types.
Yeah, because this is the
Right?
beauty standard. This really is. So listen, for all of you concerned, the reason my hair is blow dried today is because I was
one other person
all of
concerned.
you who are clutching your pearls and holding your chest. I was lazy. That's the truth. I didn't feel like
Lazy.
doing the whole.
And
curl
I was
routine.
very excited. I was like, okay, I'm not going to be the only one on camera with this hair. But when I entered, Sabah was.
Okay, so why are people so?
Yeah,
why
what
do
is-
people not like your hair? What is it about your hair that they don't?
Can I
like?
tell you what I've heard about curly
Yeah.
hair? Actually, so one thing for sure, it's not the beauty standard. So like growing up, I was lucky enough that like my parents. I grew up in the States. I don't know if you can tell by the accent, but like Bollywood was our beauty standard, right? So. Which was good because me and my sister weren't like, I wish I was white. You know, like we were very okay with being brown. However, I couldn't like just walk out the door with my hair. And this is like way in the early 90s and stuff. I'm old. So like we didn't have the sort of curly thing now where I can like unleash
So, you know,
on
I
the
actually
world.
asked my
So-
mom, I was like, Mom, how did I get this hair? because nobody in my family really has this hair. So she's like, beta, when you were born, तुम्हारा जब तुमने तुम्हारा अकीका कराया था, तो जब तुम्हारे बाल आ रहे थे तो सिल्की गोल्डन बाल थे, ठीक है? तो I was like, okay, that's amazing, but what happened then? And she's like, तो हमने तुम्हें फिर से गंजा करा दिया. And उस वक्त I think नाई ने तुम्हारे सर पे यूं करके वो भेज कर दी होगी. And that's
I love it when parents tell kids these stories.
You
Some
can't
of
argue
the
with
best
science.
So I was like, was
stories.
the eye blind? What happened to him? कि उसने यूं करके पूरी एक structure बना दिया.
But there's no like science behind the whole
Do you want to know what my
shaving the head
science was?
thing is.
My
What
head
was yours?
wasn't shaved. So
Yeah.
me and my brother were the only two in like noted history in our family to get. I really should have kept my hair curly today. It does not make sense having all these.
That's fine.
It's like I'm lying.
This also looks good,
I'm
so it's
literally
fine.
Thank you so much. I'm literally gaslighting the people, but we were the only two who didn't have our heads shaved. So that's been the explanation. My dad's like, we don't know where you came from. Like that's his favorite thing. He's like, we literally found you,
Yeah.
and we thought good enough. And so that's his reasoning. But you know what it is? People look at curly hair as like unkept. And is it not close enough? Dog, I'm so loud. You can't just catch it.
It's fine.
So they look at us as like unkept and unkempt.
That-
And
I mean,
kinda
yeah, but I
trashy.
feel like our hair is cleaner than.
I remember my mom
I
telling
mean, if
my
you
sister.
smell it right now, it's beautiful.
Oh, can't cut the camera.
My sister had, my sister had curly hair, and I've heard my mom be like, "Go brush your hair," and she's like, "I did just brush it."
Yeah.
And if I brush it more, then it turns
you
into an
know,
afro.
So recently, you know, a couple of my friends, you know, Saira people,
Yeah, sorry.
they said, "Do you brush your hair?" And I'm like, actually, why should I even lie to you guys? I was like, I don't brush my hair.
Yeah.
Because I have a picture where one day I was just sitting in my mom's room and I'm like, chalo amma aaj baal brush karte hain. Let's see what happens. And guys, the result was Simba X 5 times. It was...
It's like blow dry
my
Simba.
hair was here.
Yeah.
So I'm like, now do you guys realize I can't brush my hair?
Yeah.
You expect me to go out with that? वैसे इतना hate मिलता है तो,
Yeah.
you know, not that I care about the hate,
Yeah.
being very honest, like... but I mean, it is what it is, and I think it's part of your body, and you should just love
But
it,
look,
right?
with social
Yeah.
media...
Before social media, sorry.
yeah.
One thing, I'm going to get a little dark, though. Because
Sure.
this is another thing about curly hair that I've learned. And when you have the combination of curly hair and bigger body, unfortunately, I have found that in our society, in our culture, it's actually seen as like vulgar. Like there's an attachment of like, what does curly hair mean? Now, I don't know who all watched Hira Mandi and like shows like this. I'm sure everyone did.
We all
Have
did.
you
I
noticed?
binge watched it.
Yeah, but have you noticed silky straight hair is actually not what is often portrayed in stories like that. It actually is more the wavy, the beachy, and sometimes the outright curly. And this is not a style choice. It actually is sort of like meant to be like a nudge to this is a type of woman who is a certain wild and a certain type of
stereotype.
way. Yeah.
That I guess the industry decided that this is the stereotype.
Well, it's our culture
Like we
because I've
have-
heard it growing up and I wasn't in any movie, right? It was just like, oh, her. But bigger bodies
No,
for sure.
I think
bigger bodies get viewed as vulgar.
We've discussed
a lot.
this so many times.
Yeah.
Where, if in fact, once in every podcast, that generally within our societies, we don't like anything that's apart from the norm.
Yes.
If you don't look like a certain type that they have tagged as the norm, if you're slightly different, even
Bas.
though it should
Yeah.
be celebrated, because that gives you that individuality. Like if I had any kind of feature that sets me apart from 10 other people out there, I would celebrate it because at least when I walk into a room, they know it's me. I'm not
Exactly.
looking like everybody else out
Exactly.
there.
Yeah.
When it comes to social media, I mean, look at all these like filters on all these apps. They make everyone look the same because it's the same
Everyone,
filter.
everyone,
It's the
yeah.
same everything. And now they've taken it one step further and they've introduced apps where you can actually transform your body so you can literally look like every other Barbie.
Yeah.
You know,
Which
when
is not
I-
cool.
When I first downloaded TikTok in Pakistan, I didn't start using it immediately because when it first got here, it was a little frightening.
Yeah.
Do you know that by default, it would put on a filter that would lighten your skin? Like by default.
really?
Because I put up a video the first time and I was like, brother, what the hell happened to me? And I don't want people to think I did this.
Imagine,
So
like,
I redid it.
The marketing team was like, this country loves white
Yeah,
skin.
they were like,
let's give them the white filter.
So this region self-hatred. So why don't we work on that?
I mean, look, I just feel that, whatever you have, whatever God has blessed you with, I think you should love yourself. You know, no matter, I mean, I understand, look, we were talking about body shaming. I don't think any girl by choice wants to be a big girl. You get what I'm saying? I think there's so much more to it. There's like hormonal changes, there's menopause, there's so many things, PCOS, there's so many things that girls go through. Obviously, you're not going to sit down and be like, hey, buddy, it's very hard for me to lose weight because guess what? I'm taking 15 pills for this problem and 20 pills for this problem. I mean, it's very easy for people to be like, oh my God, moti ho gayi ho. Acha. Okay.
Yeah, and it's like, I'm also been depressed for a year and a half. Have you thought
what
about
that? Exactly.
But also, don't you think it's interesting that society expects us, and we also expect ourselves to like have an answer, because it's almost like societal failure, right? Like we were talking about, when you don't conform, you make people uncomfortable. Nothing makes our society more uncomfortable than confident people outside of the norm. So as Elhaam brought up with social media, you and I are both people who post on social media, but we're also bigger bodies and we look a little different than the average, and they cannot take it on. They get so mad. Actually, my first Cardi campaign that I ever did, so I'm the kind of person, like, I know, I liked your response that you wrote aggressive, because some people, like, I used to get in there and be like, think about what you're saying and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, nahi bhai, now we're going to start having fun. So on a Khadi campaign, my photo comes up and some woman has commented on every photo. And one of them, she's like, wow, you guys really ran out of budget if this is the models you're picking up. So I started liking the comments from this person and she started deleting them. And I was like, come on, auntie, why are we running? I thought we were both having fun here. And I started doing stuff like that, where I would just be like, all right, well, I'm just going to respond and be like, yeah, you're right, my bad. And I was like, so when's your picture coming out? That was not fun. But sometimes it gets very ugly.
Look, some people respond because they want to school them. They want to give them a little bit, but they don't want to be schooled.
Yeah, they don't care.
It's a one-way conversation. They don't want to hear you respond to them.
No, I mean, I know so many people personally as well, like where they're like, they'll just switch their comments off.
Yeah.
And I'm very against that, because it's like, let the hate come. You know what I mean? It's okay. I mean, read it, let it sink in. You can reply to whoever you want to, but don't give them a chance to be like, oh, hamari wajah se apne comments band kar diye. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I've never done that, because I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm ready for the good comments. Obviously, the friends who love me, my family, XYZ. But then there are people where I know it's going to be 10 good comments and then 5 just nasty, cringy.
Always.
I
mean, the only comments we've ever gotten on this podcast have all been so positive.
Mine,
I don't even have a public account, and I got targeted last time, and I loved it. I really enjoyed it.
But that's fine. I feel, look, it's part of life. And
I laughed at it.
It is what it is, right? But honestly, it only depends on how much you let it affect you.
Yeah. Well, I don't.
Yeah.
I have.
That's what
I have, and we've also discussed that I have put armor up for a lot of things, and it's not necessarily because I was triggered by some kind of childhood trauma.
So I remember this conversation you had on your podcast about when the topic was toxic relationships.
Yeah. So I put armor up, and so when people do come and say things to me, my response is usually either I stick to humor and I flip it around, or I just laugh it off, or I just walk away from it. Because honestly, I've now come to a point where I've realized that it's going to hurt me more than it's going to hurt. They're going to say something, and it's going to be in passing, and then they're going to walk away.
Exactly.
And it's not going to affect them. I will sit with it. I will keep it inside. I will overthink it. And it's going to make me sick on the inside. So why deal with it?
Why deal with it, exactly?
So I've had, like, as we've said, like, mixed things about this, because one thing I do want to say is, like, I'm one of like 2 or 3 plus size models in the country. So I've always trying to get more girls to get into it, but there's such a fear of doing that or starting social media, because they're like, if so much body shaming begins at home, guys, as a lot of people know, which I would love to get into. So they're like, agar ghar mein ho raha hai, what's going to happen to me online? And initially, I'm going to tell you, one time somebody commented on me, this was just a few years ago, I think pandemic, emotions were high.
Yeah.
And I started crying. They got me good. Like, they hit me in an insecurity that, like, people hadn't been able to in a while. And I actually, like, cried on my stories. And then I ended it with, like, I can't say this on this channel, but like a kind of joke that I got like 100 DMs that were like, well done, you got something in me that day like broke, where I was like, if this is the path I'm choosing, am I gonna live my life quietly because of these losers, or am I gonna live my life loudly and literally not care? Because I'm taking pleasure from the fact that like they're wasting their time on me. One time on TikTok, somebody body shamed me, and I was like, that's so funny because you're looking at me and I literally don't care if you're alive or dead.
Exactly.
And all these dudes comment on mine thing and we're like, got him. And I was like, exactly. Because I don't want women to not live because of body shaming.
Look, I live by a simple rule, and obviously that is after I started doing therapy. Obviously, there's a lot of things we're going to talk about, right? How trauma affects you.
Let's get into it now.
You know, there's PTSD, there's trauma, there's, people get into therapy. So I started doing therapy 4 years ago, which was in 2020. Okay, and one of my really close friends, she used to keep telling me, you should take therapy and it's nothing bad. And I was like, look, I have nothing against it. Sure, I will get into it. And so she made me download this app called BetterHelp online. I'm sure you guys know about that.
Yeah.
First, I was like, okay, weird. I'm going to talk to someone I don't know, and what am I even supposed to say to this person?
Yeah.
And then, honestly, Elhaam and Sabah, believe me or not, like it's been 4 years. I mean, I don't do BetterHelp now. I have someone who I know, right, in the US, and I'm telling you, I just feel that what I used to, my thought process 4 years ago, chalo, give it 5 years max, is not the same thought process I have now.
I think therapy opens your mind
So
up.
I live by one rule, and believe me, I live by it. No offense to anyone, no offense to you guys. It's love me or leave me.
I love
Simple.
it.
So-
Title your memoir, girl. Love me or leave me.
So either you love me, either you leave me.
Yeah.
I will not force you to stay in my life. I will not force you to be. So, that's what I'm trying to tell you. How I even changed this, because with this whole body shaming, obviously, there are also a couple of friends who go like, yaar, tum weight gain ho gaya hai, lose kar lo, this and that. So just 2.5 months ago, April 22nd, from what I remember, because I write these things down.
Yeah.
I write these things. Just now, 22nd April, I just got up and I was like, you know what? I don't want to do this for the world, because I started feeling a little like sick, because I feel like I had really gained a lot of weight. And, I was having like a few health issues and stuff. So I just got up and I was like, you know what? I'm going to now go on a healthy lifestyle. Sorry.
You're good.
I'm going to go on a healthy lifestyle, and I'm going to wake up, sign myself with a good meal plan, go play paddle, blah, blah, blah. So I was like, okay. And then obviously my friends were supportive. They started
your
seeing that
Insta
change.
stories are awesome.
Exactly, right? So now, honestly, I have no shame in saying this. And people who body shame, you must listen to this, that till March this year, I had reached 106 kgs, which I've never been in my life, guys, right? And right now, when I'm sitting at this podcast, I've reached 88.
Yeah.
I know it's still a lot, but for me,
No, that's
it's a big deal,
achievement.
because I feel like, look, I'm not depriving myself either.
Yeah.
I am eating. I do eat when I go out, but when I'm home and I know I have to be in routine, but I'm only doing this for my health. I'm not doing this to please anybody else or anybody in my family or my friends or XYZ. This is for myself, and I feel that it's okay, because I feel like self-realization is very important, right?
तुम
तुम मुझे बोलोगी यार कल डाइट शुरू कर दो, तुम मुझे बोलोगी मैं नहीं करूँगी.
Yeah.
That's the kind of person I am. I'll be like,
My dad.
you
Sorry,
know,
Abu.
No, I'll literally be like, I won't.
I'm the same. I
know?
will never do it if someone tells me to do it until I want to do it myself.
Well, I think like anything successfully done.
Yeah.
It has to come from inside. So
Yeah.
when I moved to Karachi, which is when we met a few
Yeah.
years ago,
Yeah.
it was I don't know if I've actually said this on this podcast, but I have said it in other hosting things and stuff. Probably the worst mental health year like of my life, simultaneously like the worst physical health. So in about 5 months, I gained 40 pounds, which I'm not really sure what that is in kg. So one of you will
But
have
it
to do the
goes
math.
hand in hand.
Yeah,
hand
but,
in hand.
But because, and it's not, and the thing is like I've been a body positive content
Yeah,
creator, right?
yeah.
So you can't, I felt that when I would say, actually one time I did say out loud, I'm not feeling so great about my body. And that person blasted me and was like, who's the Sabah Malik we follow online then? Like, what's this? You're supposed to make people confident. And I was like, okay, first of all, a human being. And then
Yeah.
like, secondly, like my
Yeah.
bad for thinking we talk about this. But I myself also last year, actually my brother got married, and like I'm usually the dancer in the family, and I love to dance and stuff. And I stopped myself because I was like, something's off about me. Like I don't feel good. And none of my family said anything. And trust me, they are not the type to not say something from my extended family. But it was when I kind of was like, oh, I just don't feel good. Now, the thing is, I'm now nearly 50 pounds dropped from that point, and I did it and again, I know this is the thing about body shaming. We're not talking about weight, about like, look at us and we're succeeding.
Yeah.
What we're talking about is like, kind of what you mentioned earlier, is people don't know what you're going through.
Yeah,
and the thing is,
don't.
I might never be smaller than this, and I am okay with that. The problem is,
Yeah.
the world is not okay with that. And they want you to constantly kind of be like on this journey to betterment. And like betterment means that you look a certain way. Also, we've been on this earth for over 30 years, brother. Maybe my body is getting older and it doesn't want to be smaller.
And it's not
than this.
easy. It's not easy.
Yeah,
with,
there's also a vicious
you know?
cycle. It feeds into it, right? Like
Yeah.
you have, when you are not in a good place mentally, or you have some kind of trauma that you've been through, and then you find food or you find comfort in some kind of thing that makes you, it doesn't only have to be where you are overweight. You could also
Yeah.
be underweight.
Absolutely.
Where you completely
Exactly.
stop eating.
Yeah.
And then people are telling you, oh my God, you're too skinny. Oh my God, you
and
need to
see
put a
that
few
word skinny,
more pounds
that
on.
actually triggers a lot of people,
Yeah.
because they don't like the word skinny. I mean, they'll rather
Because they
hear,
associate
okay,
it
we're fit.
with worse things.
Exactly,
with
like
diseases.
Exactly,
Right? So
and I think we
with-
should all respect the fact that, look, you can either be very skinny and but these terms
The
will
labels.
leave some impact on your life.
But my thing is like, mind your damn business.
Yeah.
I have never looked
Yeah.
at someone and like, look, I'm not gonna lie, I appreciate beauty. Like
Same,
my
yeah.
beautiful co-host, I'll tell her all the time, makeup
Yeah.
on point, hair on point,
Yeah.
you too. I say it to myself constantly.
Yeah.
That I understand. You build people up. I have never seen my friend and thought, wow, they look like they're not doing so hot. Let me kick them while they're down.
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
is
yeah.
crazy. And when I had gained a ton of weight, and people, actually my closest friends didn't want to say it to me because they thought, I would get upset and stuff. And I remember turning to my sister like last year and I was like, at no point did you think might like turn around, and they were like, we don't want to hurt you and stuff.
Yeah.
I understand like being blunt with your friends, but I don't know. There's something in me that when you comment on someone's weight, skinny, fat, gained,
Yeah,
lost,
exactly.
something in that is nasty. to me.
Labels. Why
Yeah.
why does everything have? I hate labels.
And actually,
but also, like you said,
Yeah.
When someone is telling you that, look, you need to drop a few pounds or whatever, there's a way to do it, right? When in our society, there is no way to do it.
There is
In our
no
society,
way.
they end up actually hurting you without meaning to hurt
Guys,
you. Also,
so-
there's on social media, they're doing it to target you. They're doing
Exactly.
it to put you down, to kick you down. At home, they're not doing it to kick you down or put you down. They
like
want
your
to
waxing lady.
Oh, and all the salon ladies.
Yeah.
I mean, the next time I go to the
like,
salon.
literally you enter the salon like, पतली हो गई हो.
I
मोटी
get
हो गई हो.
मोटी, very healthy हो गई हैं, and I'm like, thank you so much. I'm eating healthier.
know
Acha,
That's
even
my
this word,
response.
you're looking healthy, you're
Oh
looking
my God,
fresh.
I hate these
Yeah, what's
words.
fresh? Fresh तो I look every day when I shower.
I
What's
always say
fresh?
नहा धो के आ
Yeah,
गई.
ना,
I don't know.
मतलब
what to
fresh तो
tell
आप
you.
मुंह भी धो के उठते हो तो कहते हो wow,
Yeah.
fresh. But you're looking fresh, you're looking healthy. Like honestly, abhi recently I was sitting with my friends and going through my pictures just from last year, October and November. And this picture came out and I was like, guys, why didn't you tell me कि मेरा मुंह ऐसा हो गया था?
Yeah.
And they're like, why should we tell you? I mean, you should know,
Yeah.
And then I was like, yeah, actually, you're right. I mean, they were being sweet or whatever.
Yeah.
They didn't have to point it out. I had to feel it myself.
Yeah.
But, it's a bit like when you see your pictures, but then again, see, you're only doing it to feel good about yourself.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I'm not going to make you happy or you happy by looking a certain way. And I genuinely feel, guys, honestly, in this world, especially in the society that we live in, what's lacking? It's kindness.
100%.
Empathy
Okay?
and kindness.
And I think being kind is something everybody needs to realize, because you don't know I don't know what your battles are.
Yeah.
You don't know what her battles are. Both of you probably don't know what my battles are,
Yeah.
right? But if I'm just gonna be nothing but rude to you out of nowhere,
Yeah.
like it's like, okay, Elhaam, I know you, but let me be battameez to you or whatever, XYZ. I can't do that as human, because I feel like therapy, you evolve when you do therapy. That is point one, guys. So trust me, therapy is nothing bad. अगर आपको कोई आके बोलता है therapy ले लें, इसका ये नहीं मतलब कि आप पागल हैं.
Yeah.
ये अपने दिमाग से निकाल दें, because I feel like यहाँ पे everyone thinks मैं therapy ले लूँ.
It's taboo.
मैं पागल हो गया हूँ.
Yeah.
Yeah,
मैं
it's
पागल हो
taboo.
गई हूँ.
Because our society doesn't understand. What the things that they don't understand, they're like automatically they put a wall up. And
Exactly.
they
Yeah.
put them in, they unfortunately, they're exposed to so little.
Yeah.
Even though they have so much access that they can be exposed to more, but unfortunately the majority of our society is exposed to so little. They don't know a box of crayons, they don't know how many crayons
Yeah.
there are. They understand that there's black, there's white, there's red, there's green. That's
Yeah,
about it.
yeah,
And if
exactly.
you fit into any one of these, it's fine. And that goes for everything. That goes for
Everything.
careers, that goes for how they deal with their daughters, how they deal with their son. Everything is in a box. Everything is labeled very nicely, and that's about it. And anything that's slightly different or different colored, sorry, it's wrong.
That I just feel like it's
Or-
also acceptance, and you know, I mean, honestly, I've reached that point in life where I've been told by several people, you know, you should be on TV and you should act and blah blah blah. So you know, I told you guys I did that show for Play TV,
Yeah.
right? So I did about 16 episodes. This was 3 years ago. It was a car show, and honestly, for me, it was very challenging because I was like, can I be in front of the camera? Because वो गाड़ी में 3 कैमरे मुंह पे लगे हुए. You know, it's like a small car,
Yeah.
and obviously the guest is sitting on the passenger seat, and I'm driving while interviewing them and stuff. That is what actually, after that show, is when I realized, you know what? I think I'm ready for the camera, and it's okay. I
Love
don't
to
care.
hear That's it. amazing.
I don't care how I look. I don't care how.
And we're so blessed
What
that you
people-
chose to be on the camera with us.
Dude, I mean, honestly,
right
I
after
mean,
that, yeah.
And
It's
I
brilliant.
was actually looking forward to this because when you guys got in touch with me, and I've seen a couple of episodes, you
Yeah.
know, one episode which I loved, honestly, was the toxic relationships one. I actually saw that 3 times, guys.
No way!
Because I just feel like, you
Probably
know,
because of
there was-
us, not because of our guests.
Yeah, yeah.
I know.
It
I know.
definitely
the
not-
guest
was
the
not
guest was
because of the
pretty
guest.
like. She was okay, but yeah, you guys are.
The real stars.
Yeah. You guys are amazing. But I just feel, look, it's very important. This is what I mean, guys. It's important to speak. Why is it that people will keep taking things in, and then उनका एक वो point आता है जब वो फट जाते हैं कि अब मैं तुमसे पहले बोल दो यार.
Yeah.
3 महीने पहले बोल देते.
Yeah.
Why are you saying it now?
Yeah.
You know, so it's always better to just let it out, let your feelings out.
That's my entire career, is
mean-
letting my feelings out on the internet.
That's
for
the
sure.
best, right?
But
That's why I think I love your content. I'll be honest with you. You know, I've been following you for a while now, you know, on Instagram, and everything you post,
Yeah.
anything you post, I'm like, okay, you know what? It's confidence, right? Which you have. And I feel that is what actually now my mother also says कि तुम्हारा जो confidence, अब तो वो भी नहीं कहती कि बेटा बाल blow dry करा लो या weight lose कर. She's tired of it, obviously. She's like, this is who my daughter is. I have to accept her like
Acceptance.
this.
Are you listening,
know?
Abu?
So-
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, Mama, you told me to say this, so I'm saying it for you. But anyways, I'm just saying, I feel you need to be comfortable in your skin.
Yeah.
You need to like just own yourself.
That's the question I've been probably asked the most through
Yeah.
anything I've done. No matter whether it was this type of content or if I'm hosting a gig or whatever, I will always have girls, especially girls that are kind of leaning, you know, either bigger body or they have darker skin or curly, even curly hair, believe it or not. How are you so confident? Now, I've been
Yeah.
asked this question in 2 ways. One way, I'm like, first of all, you're not asking me that in a nice way. You're asking me in like, my God, you ogre. How are you so
Yeah.
confident? But some ask it in the other way because I feel similar to the conformity thing. Confident people are upsetting to the social norm. Like you're just
Yes.
supposed to, especially women, like head down, be on your way. Bigger women, you're supposed to apologize for taking space, shrink, and get out of the way. So I think when you have people talking that are like, no, you can be confident just because, and truly it's what you say, you just have to, I wish I could use bad language, but like, you just have to stop giving a damn. Like, and I'm like, I can give you no better advice than imagine respecting somebody
Yeah.
who comments on your body. And I mean, including family members. Like, if
Yeah.
you're going to sit there and say like, yo, this person's ugly, now I think you're dumb and I don't
Yeah,
respect you
yeah,
anymore. To
yeah,
me, it's like
true.
a lack of intelligence.
Look, it's easy for us to say as adults, I'm going to now go the other way.
Yeah, yeah.
As usual on this podcast.
Yeah.
It's easy for us to sit there
Flip
and as
this
adults
table.
and be like, because we've been through it, we've had experiences and we've gotten to a point where we're like, enough. I don't need to go through this. Or we have we go for therapy and we learn so much about ourselves, and we're like, I don't need this. I don't need to go down this path where I'm keeping all of these feelings inside me, or I'm feeding into the trauma, or I'm feeling bad about what some snide remark that somebody made. As adults, we can put that wall up. But did you know that 90% of teenage girls face body shaming?
Yes.
And now with the newer generations, the younger the kids are, the minute they hit school, the more they're facing it, because
Dude, it was
they're getting
happening to
smarter, they're getting more exposed.
Yeah, I mean,
they're watching all these shows
yeah.
on YouTube and whatnot, and then they see people in different body types, and now they're being exposed to a lot more body types, but it's not translating into our society.
But see, Elhaam, that's where it starts from, right? School. Now we see younger people, like, I have a niece, and then
I'm saying
my friends,
I have nieces
my
and
friends have
nephews.
nieces and nephews, so that's when it starts, because they're going to school, and say that if 2-3 of their friends are like, this, that, blah, blah, they will actually get conscious, because when they get ready, they'll actually come and ask you, okay, hey, listen, am I looking a little big? And that is when they're taking it all in, right? Because
dude, my niece didn't want to eat lunch at school. Now, here's one thing I am going to say, though. I do agree that a lot of it starts at school.
Yeah.
In my opinion,
also
it
home.
Starts at home first.
Yeah, that's what I feel.
I've sat on, I'm very lucky, privileged. I'm not saying it like bus hogia, but I've sat on panels discussing body issues, because again, I was a fat woman who spoke out loud. So they were like, my God, an expert, bring her in.
Yeah.
And I, every time I was asked this confidence question again, and everyone on the panel would be like, my mother, my father, my khala, my this, my that, my siblings. And they asked me, Sabah, what happened with you? And I was like, actually, I don't have the same story. I was fortunate that it didn't start in my home. And when I say that, I don't just mean that, my mother wasn't sitting there and being like, Sabah, fat, stop eating, blah, blah. I mean, she did not criticize her own body ever where me and my sister could hear it. She just didn't. And I think that was a blessing, because I know there are some moms, they're not sitting there and being like, my kid is fat, or my kid is too skinny, but they're sitting there and saying, look at me, I need to stop eating, I need to do that. And their daughters, especially daughters, are sponge, and they're hearing it. And I remember one time kind of calling a friend out, because I was sort of in my fat positive stage. Now I'm a little bit more body neutral, where I'm like, can I just not talk about my damn body for a day?
We've all done it. We're all guilty of doing it. We're all guilty of even saying it without realizing that there are other kids in the room and that they're listening to us.
Exactly.
And then we've all also told our friends who do it that, look, your child, you may not think that they're paying attention or they even understand, but they're going to grow up and they're going to be like, no, am I looking fat? The favorite term is, am I looking
just
fat?
as small as say if you're just sitting at a friend's house and there's 5-6 friends sitting. So, a person like me, we'll talk about 20 different things, right?
Yeah.
We'll plan trips, we'll be like, acha, kal kahan jana hai khane, and da-da-da, let's go to the beach. We'll be planning everything. But anywhere I'm sitting where weight is being discussed, non-stop, oh my God, I've gained weight. Oh my God, I'm skinny. Oh my God, I've gained weight. Oh my God, I'm not kidding. I think I have PTSD from it, because it's like, dude, can we talk about something more? I mean, I don't know. Something that I'm interested in, because I just feel like
has it ever stopped you from any kind of there's body shaming?
No.
Has it ever stopped you from doing something that you really wanted to do? Yes. Because for example, something as basic as swimming. A lot of girls who aren't comfortable in their body, they don't go swimming.
I love
a lot of people
on this body. I don't care.
Good. Listen,
done.
when I go abroad, I once packed my suitcase in front of my parents, and my parents were like, okay. And I was like,
first, exactly.
I
don't get the concept of tights and t-shirt in a pool, because if that happens, I'm like,
No, but again, you don't know what they're going through.
I don't know what they're going through.
They could be hiding a scar.
So I'll tell you. So I actually have a very big a huge scar on my femur bone, on my right femur bone, and it's huge.
Yeah.
So my doctor's like, do you want to remove it? Because obviously you wear shorts and you travel and this and that. So I was like, no, I actually don't mind showing my scar.
Right.
What's so bad about a scar?
Yeah.
Right? It's
but
okay.
you wear it like a badge of honor.
Yeah.
You say that, look, I've had an adventure and this is my scar.
Yeah.
But a lot of people don't, right? A lot of people have those insecurities where they're like, this is imperfection. I don't want to show it.
I feel, Elhaam, yahan pe, maybe it's not if you're talking about this society, I feel.
Oh yeah, they're doing it to modesty.
It's more because of costume kyun hai?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm I'm just playing devil's advocate
I
and
would
giving
too.
benefit of the doubt to
Yeah.
all those who.
I just feel they say कि नहीं वो tights और t-shirt पहन लेंगे because वो
But there's
3
modesty.
लड़के आ रहे हैं
But
pool
there
में.
is also
The way
like
the comments on this video with this exact.
No, but I also know
they're all gonna be like,
people.
we were on board with you.
It's
and now
modesty.
you're getting into pools and costumes, and we are unfollowing this podcast. I went to a pool thing here. My first year when I was living here, I've already explained that I was down in the damn dumps, and I wore like a workout outfit where I had like full brown leggings and like a brown short like crop top with long sleeves. So like I looked like I was surfing if I was in another place. And like the other girls were all in costumes and shorts, but they were much smaller than me. And I don't know, see, for me, like I don't mean to swing it back, but like in my head it's been ingrained. I guess my trauma of being a bigger body. I also grew up abroad. Maybe it was more there, but I do feel it here too, is like being seen as vulgar. Being seen as there's too much body and that body must be put away. And so I have policed myself, even going to the beach here and stuff, because I'm like, if me and somebody, half or a quarter my size wear the same thing, they look in terms of vulgarity or overt sexuality, that sort of thing different.
Yeah.
Not that that's true, but it's that mentality that's a bit of my trauma on it. And I have also talked in therapy about this, that I feel like being a bigger body or a fat body person, like I'm almost constantly in fear of being seen as like hypersexual, because I've been hypersexualized for that body my entire life. So that's when, and I noticed it myself. I was like, I who normally am like, oh God, I can't say bad words, but like to hell with society,
Yeah,
do
I
what
know
you
what you
want.
mean, yeah.
Could say I was like, oh, I must cover the parts.
I was reading about this influencer somewhere abroad. I forget her name because obviously my memory is terrible.
It's okay.
But she did this really cool campaign where she would constantly get like hate, like constantly on social media, people would be body shaming her for multiple things. Because she was out there, she was putting up this content, she was constantly getting these comments. So she started this thing which I thought was really cool. She picked up every comment about a different part of her body. She would pick that comment up. She went to one of these apps that kind of morphs your body, and she would morph that area. By the end of the 30 days or whatever of those bad comments, the person that was left behind, because all of these people who are commenting, they're like, fix this, fix that, fix this, fix. She fixed all of those using digital, and what was left it wasn't even human, that creature that came out.
There you go.
And then she put it up and she was like, this is what you guys want me to be? Because you guys told me to do it. So this is what you want.
And Elhaam, this is what I think.
And that's, I think, a great way for
Yeah.
people to understand that when they do call other people out on whatever body things that they have, they need to understand that, I mean, you can't.
Can I ask you a
God
question?
made you like this.
So a lot
Own
of
it.
people will say like, oh, well, when people body shame or they make hate comments, it's because they're insecure about themselves and
Yeah,
they're
that's
taking it
the
out on you.
standard.
How much empathy do you have for that? Because I'm going to keep it 100. For me, I'm like, that's not my problem. That's a you problem. You calling me ugly doesn't make your problems less,
But it's a our society lacks empathy.
Yeah.
You're not taught empathy at home. You're not taught empathy in school. You're not taught empathy anywhere. And then the one person who does give you, does teach you empathy, you're one person.
Yeah. You're
Can't
a loser,
happen.
actually.
Yeah,
Because
can't
you're
happen.
outside of the norm.
You're outside of the norm because
Yeah.
you have empathy.
Yeah.
That's sort of how it goes.
I want to know, what was your journey to like kind of overcoming?
My journey for overcoming would be therapy, for sure. Because, I mean, that's what has made me come to the point where I feel, I don't give a damn. Sorry if I mean.
No,
I
that's
say
okay.
that. B, it's like you'll keep telling me, I'm not going to let it affect me the way it used to affect me 5 years ago.
But when you say that
So-
therapy did this,
Yeah.
was there like, just so that we can milk it, but
Yeah.
do you think it was just getting to talk to someone outside of your world,
Yes.
or was it like
What was-
specifically made
not
you
a biased
think?
person.
Those points of
obviously,
realization.
For sure. I mean, I just feel that stop. I mean, what my therapist always used to tell me was, stop living for the world, live for yourself, love yourself first, then love the others. My problem, guys, all my life has been, let me love the other person, forget about yourself. Let me just be there for people. Let me just do everything for people and forget you. That's in that process, I feel I lost a lot of my time, my effort, my my body, I would say, like, so many things. And I feel that is something and then obviously I was also getting lost, I was getting depressed. And I'll tell you how it all started actually. I lost my father 10 years ago in a very sudden accident. And I didn't think that life would be. I would never think, I could never imagine life without him. I'm the only daughter and I have 2 brothers. So I was very close to my father. So I never thought that my life would be able to, like, I would be able to move on from the fact that the most important person in my life has been taken away from me in such ways where I wasn't expecting it, right? It's like, I mean, I was having dinner with him on a Thursday night and Friday he was gone, So I feel like all those years, and this happened in 2014, but I still was like, okay, I became this closed person, like I wouldn't joke, and that's not my personality. I'm very out there, outspoken, loud, this and that. I just went into this nutshell for about 2 to 3 years where I was like, okay, you know what? I can't do this. I cannot do this to myself. I cannot do this to my mother. I cannot do this to my friends, my siblings, etc., blah, blah. And somewhat that is when, there's this one of my really close friends who is actually my unpaid therapist. Second one, right?
Yeah.
She is my to-go person where I just, and I sit with her one-on-one. And thanks to her, actually, because she's the one who got me into this. She's like, look, you can talk to me, but I'm your friend. I will be like, oh, I feel bad for you. And yes, you're right. But that
there's
person...
always this level of with your friend, you can be like, stop lying to me. Stop being nice to me.
They'll always be there for you. They'll always feel bad for you. But I feel like a therapist will always be like, I don't know you.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I literally have nothing going on in my life. I have no idea why my phone did this. Sorry, you said your therapist would?
So I just feel like, with the therapist, it's always very different because they don't know you. You don't know them.
Yeah.
So you can talk about anything and everything and how you're feeling and what you're feeling, and they will actually guide you through the right way. So all of this combined from the trauma that I went through to body shaming to, this is how you look and blah, blah, blah. All of that, I started working on these things 5 years ago. And I feel like where I am now, I cannot thank myself enough, my friend who actually got me into therapy, and people around me who've accepted me for who I am. I feel like acceptance is very important.
Absolutely.
And I feel like in this society, acceptance is something that we lack majorly.
Absolutely.
With anything that we do. कोई decision लेंगे, अच्छा हमें नौकरी बाहर करनी है, बेटा लड़की बाहर कैसे जा सकती है? Just small things, man. I feel like the minute you accept, and also another thing, guys, which plays a big impact on my life at least, is that stop living in the past.
Facts.
Our biggest problem is
rose-colored glasses for nostalgia.
The biggest problem. यार पता है 5 साल पहले याद है तुमने मुझे ये बोला था. नहीं यार मुझे नहीं याद.
Yeah.
Because मुझे याद रखना नहीं है. Right? So forget the negative and move on.
Absolutely.
With all the positive. Dude, we are blessed.
Yeah.
With so many things, and I feel like we forget our blessings. Being so involved in our lives, हम ये भी कर रहे हैं, वो भी कर रहे हैं, हम भूल जाते हैं कि हम actually इतने blessed हैं कि अगर हम बैठ के अपनी blessings गिनना शुरू करें, we're like, oh my God, where should I stop, right?
That's absolutely
so I feel that, the to accept all these things, yes, these are the faults in me, let's work on them. And the best part is it's not like you work on them all together.
Yeah.
It's one by one.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the reasons people find like self-healing and self-awareness so tough is they believe like that it needs to fall like dominoes, as opposed to the fact that things are going to happen and you're going to have setbacks and you're going to find yourself again. And like my own journey, it wasn't like one day I woke up and I was like, okay, we're happy now. Like it took a while, but I had a follow-up question to this because there are, people are going to be watching, girls are going to be watching, and it's
Young
sort of
girls.
like therapy isn't always accessible. Therapy isn't always, as we said, there's a stigma. Sometimes your family or society or the thoughts in your own mind are going to block you from it. So I wanted to
Also, therapy is not cheap.
No, it's not. Like,
Yeah.
it does come at a cost.
Yeah.
And honestly, like, as someone who's been in and out of therapy, finding someone within my budget who didn't have a wait list for like months was very, very tough because they know that there is this demand, but what can they do? They're one person. I guess what I wanted to ask or like bring to the table for discussion is like, how do we convey to especially people younger than us or even women in our age group that are women that are still holding on to these blocks that like how do you overcome it when that's not the way, like when we say just stop giving a damn and this and that,
it's
how
very
do you-
easy to say it.
So my question is, how do we convince them? Because trust me, I have a 13-year-old niece I'm very close to, and I have caught her here and there saying something where I'm just like, girl, I promise you, like none of this matters. Like it truly,
exactly,
I love that you said we're blessed because we're such a small part of this world, and I wish there was a way to make them understand.
Well, I mean, journaling and also if you're like a young girl and you have all these feelings inside you, write them down and also keep like there's the self-fulfilling prophecy is a very real thing. If you keep telling yourself that look, you are strong, you are independent, you are beautiful, you write down nuances as like put down what you love about your body, put down what you love about your hair, you'll start believing it eventually. And also surround yourself with people who are very accepting of you, who actually lift you up and don't tear you down. Like you said, love me or lose me. Lose the ones that are actually tearing you down.
I always say this, that when you walk away, and I learned this too late in my life, when I walk away from people and I'm like, I don't feel so good about that interaction, bye. Like done. And I actually learned this in Karachi after a few months. I was like, every time I hang out with this person, I feel awful about myself. So why am I hanging out with them? I know that's easier said than done because I did tell my 12-year-old niece this and she was like, girl, we are in the same class. How do you want me to hide from
Where do you want me to go?
And I was like, no, it's about not putting that much weight on the opinions from others.
And I feel like parents need to talk to their kids.
Please.
Oh, for sure.
Talk to your kids, not at them.
And I feel like, but Elhaam, I feel like this generation is better in that way.
Definitely.
I feel like in our generation, I still feel because, I mean, we didn't have phones, we didn't have YouTube, we didn't have access to
there was
like
less exposure.
iPads, you know, हम
We
garden
just
में
had
खेलते
rocks
थे,
and hopes,
you know, yeah, like garden में खेल रहे, home garden, river, that was our life, that was our childhood. But I feel like now because there's so much, you know, these kids do that, I feel like the mothers and the fathers these days are definitely more aware of things, and they're telling these kids, acha, you know, this is not right and blah blah. At our age, I feel like we did what we had to do, and I mean, cousins hi hote the hamare dost. You know what I mean? Besides like the school friends,
because those were the numbers our parents knew, so
exactly.
we had to hang out with them.
Exactly.
Wait, so I want to like kind of wrap this a little bit on that with this like thing. You said you've started therapy. You've spoken to your mom. Even we had a shout out to your mom and her.
Sure,
Have you felt that your growth has impacted the growth of the people around you? Because
for sure.
Yeah, including family.
For sure, including family and a few of my friends actually. And I mean, I would love to name them, but I think it's okay.
Name and shame.
I shouldn't. I feel like no. So you know, there are a couple of people in my life where I've sat with them. They've also been through similar, you know, like trauma. They've been through PTSD. They've been through a lot of things, and I've actually sat them down and said, listen guys, you know what, like sometimes it's okay to just let go. The more you hold on to these feelings, the more you hold on to XYZ past, this and that, you yourself will never be able to move on or evolve, right? So I mean, I feel like, I mean, I hope it's impacted people around me, you know? So I'm hoping, because I feel like
I asked because when I started really getting into it, I started having the tough conversations with my parents, and obviously initially they're like, hey, shut up, and like we did the best we could, but now we've gotten to a point where I'm happy to say they're receptive to me, you know, ruining a dinner to bring up some trauma.
Exactly,
on me.
And I honestly, you know, guys, I feel like you have that personality where I'm sure you go through your own, like, you know, you have your own battles and stuff, but I feel like when you enter the room, people want to be around you because you're that positive person. And Elhaam, even you, like when I saw that episode of yours, I was like, you know, when she's saying that she has this wall, I don't think you have that wall with at least your close.
I don't,
You know,
I'm
seen
very,
you.
in fact, it took a while, but I'm very vulnerable.
I think you only have that wall with Saira.
No, but I think that those of us in Ilham's life.
She keeps climbing, trying to climb
chipped
over
and
it.
chipped
Yeah,
and chipped and
these guys
chipped.
keep climbing over it, and then I put another layer on.
I mean, I'm just saying, I just feel like, look, guys, you know, the way forward to life, I mean, inshallah, alhamdulillah, I
let
hope,
go.
is to let go, stay positive. The more negative things that you think about, you believe me, you start doing them, right?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
all,
yeah,
it
yeah.
all starts with here,
I agree.
right? So I feel like choti cheezein where, first of all, be human and be kind. That's the first step.
Honestly, I think that's a great place.
That's a
to
great
end.
place to
That's,
end.
that's the first step, and
Be
then
kind.
comes everything else.
Yeah,
You know,
kind.
absolutely.
you have to be kind.
Be kind.
Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you so
This
much
has
for
been
coming on.
excellent. This
I
has
know,
been
I've had a great
and
time.
it felt like we were just talking, sitting
Yeah,
at
I
home
know.
and
Like, I
having
mean,
this
I just feel like
conversation.
it's very important to talk about these things. and
Absolutely.
I'm so glad we did this.
Okay, so we want to thank Sarah Ajmal for joining
Thank
us
you, guys.
today.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Let them know where they can find you.
You can find me on They Call Me Bebo _ on Instagram.
underscore.
नहीं मिल रहा था नाम यार मैंने लिखा They
How
Call
many
Me Bebo.
Bebos are there?
I don't know, but I think I'm the most real,
Just the
closest
two.
Bebo to Bebo.
Definitely.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye, guys.